Welcome, great warriors of the world, Vigor Warriors 2. It's great to be back on another episode. This is Vigor Warriors 2. And welcome to the 1% Club. And there's a reason why we're 1% Club is because what we're talking about, there's a lot of skepticism and disbelief on the importance and power of things that we have as superpowers. But I think it's because the society has led us through this blue matrix, and we need to kind of get out of this blue matrix to realize that some of the things that we've heard are incorrect and doesn't apply to each person. We're seeing a lot of fake stuff going on out there, trying to get us to buy products or controlling the population, other things like that. And I think you have to realize that you got to look and see the results for yourself. And after 570 some days and over 100 days of monk mode, it's obviously apparent to me, at least in my opinion, that retention works and that it's really a high motivating source for you to continue to be healthy, prosperous, and move on. I'm 60 years old, moving towards 61, and I feel tremendous. Yes, there's times where I have aches and pains and different things like that, but they're far and few between the way it used to be. When I played football for many years and got a lot of banged up injuries that I thought by the time I was 35 that I wouldn't be able to walk anymore. And it's to me amazing how things happen. So this is an amazing superpower. Well, first I want to do, before I go into this more, thank donations, subscriptions, we're over 260 now, so that's wonderful. I'm shooting for 500 and keep going strong and trying to get the message out. And my goal is to try to get past the 1%, move it up to 2%, 3%, 5%, 10%, and keep moving along so that this word gets out and we create a lot of strong men and women who have no problems with controlling themselves and having self-control. And those things are crucial when it comes to the Word of God. So I want to give a shout out to Jackie Chan and Dihn. You guys have made some nice comments. I didn't get a chance to respond back. We're back to teaching this week, so it's been kind of hectic, and so I'm going to try to do some videos when I can in between things going on. But appreciate the comments. And Danny, I'm going to focus on the Torah on a separate one. But your comment about where does the transmuting energy go? If you don't transmute, we'll focus on that one a little bit. And also, Jackie, a great comment on how long we've been in retention. I'm going to focus on both of those right now. So when we look at these things, because they kind of go together a little bit. So I'm at 570 some days, I think, on NoFap, and I think it's like 100 days of monk mode. And I'm at the point now where I don't even think about it. And it's hard sometimes, to be honest with you, to keep up to dates, because in most of what's happening is that I just keep going through each day, and it just, I don't even notice it because I'm not really thinking about it. Yes, there's times that things come up, and certainly there's times that you're tempted in some way, but the temptations now are even less than they used to be. It's not even a strong temptation. So unless I put myself in that position, it's something that's not going to necessarily happen that easily. And so the longer the streak goes, the more you build up a habit of not streaking and not losing energy. And to me, the better you feel. And if you combine that with water, which I was out of water for a while there as far as getting dehydrated, so that was something that I got to always keep an eye on. But you want to make sure when you're fasting that you're not dehydrating, which I think happened to me a little bit over the weekend. And so you have to kind of balance all this out. And moderation is always the key, as the Bible always talks about, is you want to make sure you're moderating in things that you're doing. So let's look at a couple of these questions. So first of all, how long have I been on retention? Well, I think that obviously, as I talked about, mentioned it's 570 some days, and monk mode is over 100 days now. But the question, I think, that if I remember Jackie Chan's talking about, is how old was I when I started retention? Well, I tried retention because I knew down deep in my own, being that this was not good. I saw it in the Bible several times, but when I was younger, in my 20s, I wasn't as spiritual as I should have been. And I didn't really take it all that seriously, especially since I went to Catholic school for CCD and things like that. I didn't really take it that seriously after college, and I probably should have. But the biggest issue is I didn't recognize what it meant, and I felt that, somehow it didn't apply to me either. So I went on little streaks, but only a week or so here and there when I was in my mid-20s, early 30s, knowing that this was wrong. And I just felt bad about doing it, but I just couldn't control it. I didn't want to control it. Either that could be either the case. And so I finally decided, okay, I'm going to go ahead and start doing this. And so, Jackie, I've been trying to do this. I'm 60 years old now. I've been trying to do this since I was 25 years old at least. And so it didn't take me until I was 58 to finally say, this is it. You're going to break through this barrier. It's not that important anymore. I thought that because I listened to everything I was hearing, by the scientists and people out there, that this was a bad thing, that your health's going to decline, you're going to have problems because you're not releasing, you're holding it all in, you're going to explode, and that has not happened either. Now, that's going to get me to the next question. So, Jackie, to finish up on your comment, thank you for the comment, by the way. I think that you can start at any age you want to. I think you have to just realize that this is a lifestyle change, and that the benefits are so tremendous with this lifestyle change, but you won't feel it until you actually do it. And you have to overcome that temptation that's going to be with you for a while. I mean, I would say it's only been the last 30 or 40 days where I've kind of gotten away from thinking about it. But for 500 days plus, you're still talking about a lot of satanic types of ideas coming in your head, and it's hard to avoid those. And so as you look at those type of things, as long as you have some sort of drive, you're still going to have some of those temptations. But you have to learn how to control those, and that's the tricky part. It took me many, many years. So one of the reasons I'm doing a lot of these videos, for those who are newer, is because I'm trying to kind of get information out there for some of the younger men and women who really want to try this. And we're not just talking about men here, we're talking about women. Now, it's different with testosterone as far as women do, but women collect testosterone too. It's just that they disperse in different ways, and especially during the time of the month and things that they have, it's a little different for females than it is for males. But the same thing applies as far as energy goes. And energy-wise, you have to try to keep your energy. Because if you lose your energy, no matter if you're male or female, then you're going to suffer. I think you're going to suffer health benefits. You're going to suffer all kinds of things, stressing, depression, all these things, because you don't do it. So, to Jackie's question, basically, I think you should start this anytime, as soon as possible. I don't care what age you're in. I don't care if you're 17 years old, 25 years old, 45 years old. This can only benefit you. And the testosterone you're building up is going to make you look, a lot healthier. And in my case, I'm also doing and I have a couple videos on this, the Fountain of Youth exercises. Now, the Fountain of Youth exercises also includes number 6, which is the celibacy one that I didn't follow for many years, and now I'm following that because of my streak. And so, because of that, now I'm getting all the full benefits, and that's when you start, I believe, starting to even feel younger. Now, whether you look like younger, it's kind of up to people watching you. But I feel younger. I don't have the aches and pains as much. I don't have the types of things that normally I would have at my age, because I did all these exercises. Plus, I'm practicing, I call it celibacy, retention, brahmacharya. You call it a lot of different things. Okay. Now, let's move on to Danny's question about focusing on transmuting. So, one of the problems people have had is that they don't see benefits right away. They think something's wrong. Well, it's not really a matter of something being wrong, but it's a matter of you're learning how to transmute that energy. So energy, going back to Danny's point here, energy cannot be destroyed. This is a law of physics that I teach in my physics class. You cannot destroy energy. So because you can't destroy energy, it has to go somewhere. So the question is, how does it go, right? So when we think of energy, we can think of a big bottle of, sparkling energy running through, right? And as you do this, you're using energy in different ways. Now the question is, are you using it constructively or not? So for example, you took a couple days and you did not release. Those nutrients are within your body, and they're focusing on going inside your body and repairing your body and staying there so that you have things that can fight off diseases, in my opinion. And you also have things that can actually motivate you to take action. And so the energy you're using is you're transferring that energy to healing or to basically doing stuff, doing things, action, behaviors. And those things then end up using the energy that way. You're not going to continue, unless you're sitting there doing nothing, and that's when you may get frustrated and upset because you're actually not doing anything with this energy you have. But you've got to do something with the energy, because the energy will then be used in a different way. Now, the question I think is asking is, do you lose the energy? Well, there's lots of ways you lose energy. We talked about these in a couple of videos in the past. We talk about the vampires, right? We talk about the fact that they can actually take energy from you. Now, they can do that in a couple different ways. One, they could do, the succubuses can do this from the actual physical transfer energy. So if you're having sex, you're having intercourse with people, they can actually, if you're losing energy, they're taking that energy, right? But they can also do it emotionally. If people get into arguments and you get angry, it's almost like you're pushing that energy to someone else, and that energy is being taken by the other person. And so as we look at this, those are people who I call energy suckers. Now, zombies are like that because they basically are looking for energy from someone else. And so whether it's time or energy or stress, you're giving them energy. Now, you don't want to do that because then you feel weaker. You want to use energy in the most constructive ways possible. Now, do we do this 100% all the time? No, of course not. And there's going to be times where you're going to probably be sitting there and be frustrated, especially if you're on this kind of streak. But you can do some breathing exercises, and we've kind of, I think, done a couple videos on this. You can do some breathing exercises. You can try to use and move that energy around. So, for example, if you have your energy in the lower part of your body, you can take some deep breathing and move that stuff back up. You can visualize moving the energy back up into your system so it can be used to heal your body or make your body stronger, which is why when you go through retention, you start seeing, muscles that you didn't see before. And I've seen that even at 60 years old. I would say I have like a 2-pack right now, which I never had any pack before. So that just shows me that the stuff I've been doing does make a big impact. Now, can I get it to a 4-pack or a 6-pack? Maybe. We're going to try that. We've never done this before, but we're going to try one of our goals is try to get a 6-pack, right, of abs. But the thing about it is that as you look at this, you have to kind of realize that that energy is going to be used somewhere. You can actually dissipate it if you want to, but you're not going to feel strong with that. It's going to take time to recuperate that. Or you can try to save it and transfer it so that you're active. This is why it's important to be active all the time. Important to be active and use your energy in a positive way in which you're focusing on the ideas that you need to kind of look at to become a stronger person. And that's because you're using energy in a way that you can actually kind of build yourself up. And you can use it to transmute it that way. So that's the key to it. I think you have to be active. Be active in exercising, do some weightlifting, do some walking around, energize yourself, get to the point where you're actually doing a lot of things so that that energy that you thought were going to use to be released and look at pictures and chase, men or women around, those things are being used in a positive way to make your life stronger and become stronger. All right. So I hope that answers the question for Danny and Jackie. Thank you guys for responding back as usual. And I hope this information gave you some kind of pause to think about this a little bit. And if there's any questions, let me know as well. So until next time, guys, battle on!